Rob, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me here.
No problem.
If you could give a little bit of biography and who you are and what you do and who you're with.
Okay, my name's Rob Cook. I work for the Canadian Securities Exchange.
Okay.
We're located in Toronto. I have been in this business since 1982.
Wow.
Yeah, I started with the exchange, in 2002, a year before we launched.
Yeah.
Right, and we started very small. We started with 3 companies listed.
3 companies in 2002.
Only 3.
Wow.
Yeah, one of them was U.S. based.
Okay.
That company raised $100 million
Your first
while
of
it
your...
was listed. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, our success has been very gradual.
Yeah.
Every year, more companies list. Every year, a little bit more trading. And then, 3-4 years ago, we started to list companies in the cannabis sector.
Yeah.
So we will list Canadian companies who are applicants to be a licensed producer.
That's
They
amazing.
don't have to have their license yet. One of the best examples of that is Aurora Cannabis.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah, many people have. They were listed on the CSE before they had a license.
Wow.
Yeah, and look at them today.
And were they one of your earlier cannabis clients, or who were the earliest
They were
ones?
fairly early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
I couldn't tell you exactly who was the earliest.
Yeah,
but
they were amongst that.
fairly early. Supreme was another one.
Supreme, yeah.
That was fairly early, and so the market has really responded to the growth of this industry.
Yeah. So
And our trading is just amazing. It's just through the roof.
you've got you've got a lot of volume happening in the
Yeah, we
cannabis
do.
space on your exchange.
We
And
do.
so in 2000, so you were right there in 2002 when the CSE began.
Yes.
And what was the?
But we launched in 2003, yeah.
Oh, you launched in 2003.
And then we became recognized officially by the Securities Commission as a stock exchange in 2004.
in 2004. So
Yeah.
why?
Well,
What was the driver?
Well, why did we do it?
Yeah, why did you do it? What
Well,
made-
because back in the late 1990s, there were 5 stock exchanges in Canada,
yeah.
and they divided the territory amongst them.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so instead of competing with each other, they said, okay, Toronto Stock Exchange is going to be senior equities.
Yeah.
Montreal is going to give up equities and do options and futures. Toronto gave up options and futures. So, and then they
Okay.
created the venture exchange,
Yeah.
and everyone else got folded into that. So then they had one senior market, one junior market, one derivatives market.
Yeah.
Don't compete with each other.
Okay, so there was a
So
monopoly.
there's an opportunity to create a new exchange that would provide competition. Right?
To
there,
all of them.
And there were new rules that were being established
Yeah.
at the Securities Commission level that would define not only what a stock exchange was, but also an alternative trading system, which is another kind of a marketplace.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
So the opening was there, and so we created a market that's aimed at emerging companies.
yeah.
So we designed it around what does a young company need? Well, they need access to capital. That's why they go public in the first place.
Yeah.
And what's critical to that? Well, you have to make that a reasonable cost. So our mission statement is to lower the cost of capital
Okay.
for emerging public companies.
Yeah.
And we do that in a couple of ways. One is we have very low fees compared to the other exchanges. And the second is we have what we call a streamlined regulation program
Yeah.
with very straightforward rules and very limited regulatory interference in what the company does. So unlike other stock exchanges, when the company wants to do a transaction, they don't come to us and seek our approval and have us review all their documentation that's already been gone over by their lawyers
Yeah.
and their auditors, etc., and so on. They have to put up a notice on our website that says
Okay.
we're proposing to do this transaction, and then they can go off and do it. And they have to stay in compliance with the rules. So we have rules that are similar to those of other exchanges, so they're not unregulated
Yeah.
at all, but we don't impose that extra level of, well, we have to see what you're doing before you can go off and do it.
So that would make it, in an ongoing basis, operationally more affordable
Yes.
to be working
Right.
with the CSE. So it's not just it's not just, well, we want to make it affordable and more accessible to smaller, younger stage companies, but we want to maintain that affordability is what it sounds like. Yeah.
Exactly. So we have a flat fee per
Yeah.
month. So if you go and raise money, we don't charge you a piece of it.
Okay, you just
Okay.
have your maintenance fees.
We just have a flat monthly maintenance fee that everybody pays.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
And in 02 to 04, when all this was coming together, were you guys looking ahead and saying, we're gonna go after that emerging cannabis market later, or,
Well,
how did that
we
come
didn't know there
about?
was going to be a cannabis market.
No, that was a bit early. Okay,
But we knew that there was going to be at some point that we would reach a tipping point.
Yeah.
And things would progress a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Because the early years were, it's a slow climb.
Yeah.
But it's been much faster of late.
Yeah. So opening up the gates to the cannabis industry in your exchange, that was maybe part of besides your organic growth up till then. That was a contributor.
Yeah,
to your
that's
exchange.
accelerated our growth. So now we're well over 400 companies. I don't know the exact number, but let's say it's about 425 maybe. And
420. Let's go with 420. Just a little salute to that.
Sure. And a quarter of them are in the cannabis sector.
Yeah.
Well, 5 years ago, did we have one?
That's amazing.
We might have one.
That's amazing. Now I don't know. I don't know if you've heard this nickname, but somebody there's another nickname for your exchange.
Yeah, I can imagine what that is.
The Cannabis Securities
Yes.
Exchange.
Yes.
Now that came from my securities lawyer.
Yeah, of course it did. Everybody has that stuff, but we've already rebranded twice.
Oh, have you?
So we will not change our name.
No, you're done.
No, but maybe we'll double the N in Canadian.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Yeah.
So what is so you're over 420 companies now,
And over 100 of them are in cannabis.
and 100 of them in cannabis,
And over 50 are in the United States.
and you've got 50 in the U.S.
So most of them are Canadian companies.
Yeah.
But they either have assets or operations south of the border
Okay.
in cannabis, and we're the only stock exchange in North America
Yeah.
that will list them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're at MJ BizCon. We're here in Vegas. There's 20,000 people here. I'm assuming most of them are Americans. You guys have this. I love your booth, by the way. I gotta show you guys this. This is going public A. So we're not being shy about our Canadian prowess in the cannabis industry, and neither are you guys at the CSE. Is that do you see quite a future? Do you see that as your next phase in growth? Is the continued acquisition of American companies coming to the CSE?
Certainly in the near term.
Yeah.
Definitely. That might change as marijuana or cannabis gets legalized in the United States. Then there'll probably be more opportunities for them south of the border. But we already offer things that you cannot get from NASDAQ or NYSE.
Okay.
We offer you early entry into the public markets in a regulated stock exchange with a continuous auction market, which is superior to an over-the-counter market.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of the liquidity and the fairness and the efficiency of the market. So we think that a lot of people have taken notice of the CSE because of our recent activity, and most of them realize, this stock exchange works not only for very small companies, but large ones too.
Yeah.
I mean, we listed a company with a $4 billion market cap last month.
That's a big company.
That's a big company.
That's a good market cap, and that was just this last month.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. So I mean, you're pulling in companies the size that would go on NASDAQ.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're not charging them any more than we would charge a company worth $2 million.
That's a really good value proposition.
It is.
So to kind of wrap this up, Rob, for you personally, is there any personal relationship with the cannabis industry, or what do you view? What's your view of the whole cannabis industry and its emergence outside of the securities?
It's quite interesting. It's how many times have you seen literally a new industry pop up from nothing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the way it's growing is I have my own domino theory.
Okay.
The domino theory used to be about the communists taking over country after country, right?
Yeah.
But what you see is in the United States, state by state, the dominoes are falling as more of them get into cannabis, and around the world, it's country by country. So it's growing that way.
Yeah. And did you think do you see it as a positive overall? Is it a positive for Canada? Is it a positive for medical patients? Like, what's your
totally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, there's so much good news about it.
Yeah.
And in Canada, they're trying to do it right. They're trying to keep it out of the hands of teenagers. We already have, higher percentage of teenagers smoking marijuana in Canada than elsewhere. And by putting in the new regulations that they have, it's really an attempt to stop the black market, improve the quality, create regulated access to the product. That should be beneficial. And the boom in medical marijuana has been very positive for a lot of patients.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, not everybody, obviously, but there's been some real wins on that space.
Well, I look forward to continuing to watch all the amazing action on the CSE, and I thank you very much for your time today.
I enjoyed it.
Appreciate it.